Okay, going live. Let me know if that's too loud for people. I've got YouTube chat up over on the side here. People, a little bit of time to come in. Ready? Reconnected local hearing. Hey. All right, well, the music stopped, so I guess we have to start. I think we are live everywhere over on X, YouTube, and LinkedIn. I have been doing quite a bit of testing. Past couple of weeks, I've had some issues with some static and some weird sounds that I was getting from my microphone, and I was trying to figure out why that was. Normally, it's not a problem when I record with Riverside, but it's been bizarre. But it was okay somewhat on the podcast side, but still wasn't okay on the stream. So I don't know. I was playing around with it. All right. Without further ado, let's actually get started. Welcome back to Tech Fork, where I discuss things I found interesting in tech and business world this week. My name is Jesse Nolan. I'm your host and the founder of tabGeeks. This is going to be the last show of the year, as I need to tear everything down around me so that I can rebuild the studio. I'm going to shift everything left and move away from the window that's in front of me here, which is a very bright light, especially when I'm doing live here. I've had to do some camera effects to accommodate for that, and it'll just be much easier to control lighting in general. I can also put down like a blackout shade on there and move and build lighting around me on that side. So that's part of the reason why we're doing that. Also to make it easier so that I can just hit record and start filming and do more screen recording faster and more easily in the future. So looking forward to doing that over the next couple of weeks. This is also the last show of the year because I'm going on vacation next week, and then it's the holidays, and things get basically grind to a halt there. Mostly, it never totally stops because that's the tech industry, but it does significantly slow down for the last week or two of the year, and oftentimes the first week in January as well. But I do plan on being back in January, starting the first Tuesday of the year. So, yeah, one other point about the studio design here is that I designed the wiring in this space because I designed my studio, which is my garage at home. We renovated it during the pandemic, and I designed it to have my desk in this spot. But at least there's power on the other wall. Now, I do like to have, obviously, all my power running from UPS battery backups, and I have my network rack to the right of me over here, and so a lot of my stuff runs off the big beefy battery that's in there, and then some of the other stuff runs off of a secondary battery that I have over here. So I'm gonna have to figure out exactly how to redesign that, run some cabling around in order to make all that work. But I've got the new fiber line, which I can talk about in a minute as well. But the goal of all of this is to make it much easier for me to go live, just hit record, and make more content for all of you. So I got to buy some more furniture and get it all reorganized and set up nicely. And then the goal is to keep it clean, which is personally for me the hardest part. So you'll have to all hold me accountable to that. And when it's done, then I won't have to have roughly 30 minutes of setup beforehand when I go to film a video, and it'll give me multiple different sets to work with. So more diversity in the channel and more ease of use. Yeah, the one of the things I wanted to do is give a shout out over on YouTube to let me just look up the name here so that I don't royally screw it up here. After last week's video, I had commented, or in last week's video, I had talked about the issues and troubles that I've had with the Frontier fiber internet to the home, and it wasn't quite a disaster, but it's not fully there yet. Um, and I had over on YouTube in the comments, we had I think it was Kevin Casey said he works at yeah, Kevin Casey works at Frontier. So shout out to Kevin Casey. We were doing a little bit of chatting in the comments there, where he was saying that you could go directly from the ONT into the UDM, which is likely going to be the plan. I have to figure out how to get the full speed with multiple static IPs, and that's on Frontier. So waiting to hear back from them on that. But for the moment, I can just go from the Mocha to the UDM or the ONT directly into the UDM as a single unit and get those speeds. So shout out to Kevin Casey once again. Thank you for that. And that's pretty much that. So in semi less tech for work news, I don't know if you've heard, there's this company that's doing this bizarre thing where they're giving away televisions. They're called Telly. And the thing with them giving away televisions is that they are just, acknowledging that they are making a lot of money off of selling all of your data and advertising and so on. And they've designed this television that is a 40, 50, 60, 50 inch, 55 inch, I believe. Probably something that they're building, mostly off the shelf, but they do have some interesting things that they added onto it, which I will get into in a moment. But essentially, they're giving away a TV, and you have to commit to use it, and you'll get their services, and you take a survey, which was absurd when you fill this thing out, which is asking about like anyone else in your family getting health insurance, anyone else in your family going to college soon, anyone else in your family retiring soon, like all these ridiculous, crazy questions because their whole thing is built on selling your data. And some of those things I probably shouldn't have shared so freely in there just to get a TV. But this is such an interesting concept. I had to see if it would ever even ship, and apparently mine is shipping shortly. So in the next couple of weeks, in the new year perhaps, I should be getting one of these. And one of the interesting things that they're also doing with it is that it has a second screen that's a, I don't know, 5 or 10 inch screen, tall, wide it's the width of the TV, down below the TV, and it's designed to be an information always on type of interface where you can have sports scores or stock scores, stock updates, whatever, and essentially, obviously they're going to show advertising on there as well, but you can have the weather and you can have a ticker of news ticker, breaking news, that kind of thing. And I think it's just a very very interesting business that they are doing here to provide a really solid TV experience as well as do it all for free. So I'm curious to see if they can continue. I love quirky companies like this. If not, hey, I'd probably get a free TV out of it. And when they go defunct, then I'll just hack it and it'll become a free TV display that I can put up in the studio or something. So we'll see. Best of luck to them because I love like I said, weird things. So another thing that I wanted to show off here is NASA has on their YouTube channel, and I think I can share my screen here with this. Oh, let me turn the audio off on that. It is a 4K. Where's the screen share? Screen share this one. 4K, 8 hours fireplace, like a Yule log of a NASA rocket engine. I believe this is based on, yes, the SLS rocket's 4 RS-25 engines and a pair of solid rocket boosters. Just enough to get you to the moon is what it says, parentheses, and get you through the holidays with your in-laws. So some cheeky humor there from NASA. And honestly, this is awesome. I love the sound on it. Let me see if I can get the sound to go through. I don't know if I'm sharing audio as well. Let me know in the comments if you can hear that. But it's just a nice roaring, like you would a roaring fire, crackling fire, but this is roaring of rocket engines. And I need a SpaceX one. Stat, Elon, I know you're listening to my show. Please have somebody at SpaceX make this so that we can get a really awesome, whether Falcon or Starship, preferably Starship, engine, fireplace, fire, Yule log, whatever kind of a setup. It's just super relaxing and super cozy and that brings me to my next topic, which I don't think I actually have even had in my notes here, but YouTube TV has launched. I don't know if you use YouTube TV, but I have a bunch of clients who do, and so I've played around with it pretty extensively. And what they've done is in their channels, because of the way that the video industry works, or the television industry, the broadcast industry works, is that when you are broadcasting a syndicated selection, whether it's CNN or Fox News or something that is the same across the country, they have to take breaks for ads, and then they share ads from the local partners. And sometimes that doesn't always line up, and sometimes it doesn't always exist. And I believe YouTube probably sells ads against that. But when they don't have those slots, if there isn't an ad sold or it's, an alignment needs to take place or whatever it is, YouTube TV has a moment of Zen that that they place. That's what they call as a moment of Zen, and it's essentially just a really peaceful, relaxing soundtrack of a beach or water or a rainforest or things like that. And they got enough reports or enough requests from people begging them to make this a full channel that they have the full YouTube TV Relax channel. So if you use YouTube TV, you haven't seen that yet, definitely go and take a look. And if you are a fan of streaming live relaxing things in your environment so that you can just focus and have something quiet in the background, but not too quiet, so that you can actually have some ambient sound, which is very, very chill, especially good for deep focus work. And then definitely go and check that out. I'm a fan of that. I like that they did that. That's cool. Okay, what else do I have over here? X-Reel. So I think we talked about this last week, but I got the X-Reel Air, what are these? The Air 2 Pros. And I have mixed feelings about them. I both love them and hate them. I don't hate them, fine. I love them, but they don't work for me. And the reason for that is because I'm a stickler I'm really, really picky when it comes to resolution. I have, thank God, very good eyesight. And I want to be able to see extremely clearly any screen in front of me. So my screen in front of me, my normal desktop screen is 2K. My monitor over here for communications and controlling everything and chat, music, and video feeds and all that is 4K. These glasses are 1080. Now for the audio people, I have the glasses on my face. And I guess I'll stop sharing so that you can see the ridiculousness, or not ridiculousness. They're actually pretty cool compared to some of the other glasses that are out there. But essentially, these are designed with well, they're screens inside, right? I'm showing them on the video side, but essentially they're sunglasses, but they have projection displays or screens inside the glasses, and they're really cool in that you just plug a USB-C cable into the back of it and into your phone or your computer, whatever it is, and it takes the display there and it puts it up on the screen on the display in the glasses, and that's really cool and awesome. But it's only 1080, and it also was a little bit nauseating because it does, it moves around and whatever, and it's really hard to get some of the best AR features that you would get from a dedicated glasses headset, such as, or VR even, such as from the Apple Vision Pro or some of the competitors out there, because there's no actual processing that takes place in the glasses. They're just extended screens essentially for what you're doing, and that's one of the reasons why I'm returning this headset in particular, is because as I believe I mentioned in a previous show, my daughter, starting in January, has intensive physical therapy. She was a little bit delayed or is a little bit delayed. She was tiny bit preemie. She's a twin. Her brother was ready to go. She wasn't quite ready to go. So she's playing catch up, and she's made a tremendous amount of progress, and she's doing wonderfully. And everything is fine. We just want to make sure to give her as much help as we can, because that's important, especially for at this stage in life. Babies, they develop so quickly. So if you don't intervene this early, then every week or month you wait is possibly months or years of additional required therapy down the road. So, but she's fine. She eats, she walks, she runs, she plays. She's just not as steady as she should be and whatnot. So she's going to be doing a 3-week intensive therapy, 3 hours a day program in which they want me there, but don't want me with her. So they have a waiting room for the parents, and I'm going to be sitting there. And so I was like, hey, I'm going to be working. This is a great opportunity for me to put a big ass screen on my face to be able to have my big wide monitor. I edit videos, obviously, for a living and do consulting. And having lots of screen real estate has always been my superpower and a huge part of my workflow, given that I've got lots of screens open in front of me or one big screen open in front of me in the case of video editing. And I want to be able to do that. And these X-Real glasses don't do that because they're only the direct square replacement of the screen that you have in front of you. But this week, X-Real came out with a totally new approach to the glasses, similar to how their glasses with the screen to them is a relatively novel approach. They developed what's called the X1, I believe, which is a chip. The X-Real 1 is the glasses, and in it is their new chip, which takes a lot of the processing that I was referring to before, where you want to be able to ground them in a certain location in space, right? So you can say my monitors are here, and then you can turn over there, and they stay there, and that helps a lot with using them and walking around and keeping things in space and less nausea inducing. And they have a new set of glasses that they're thinner, they're lighter, they're basically totally redesigned. And one of the things that it comes with is the ability to have an ultra wide view. So I need to get a pair of those. X-Real PR folks, I know at least one of you. If anybody else is listening, I know you are. Please send me those so that I can review them, or maybe I just had to buy them for myself because I can't afford to buy a $3,000 Apple Vision Pro. I may just buy it just to try it for this and then make a video about all this because I think it's an interesting use case. But this is a show about tech for work, and I need this in order to work, and I want to be able to work in the field and have a huge amount of real estate in front of me, screen real estate in front of me to be able to do what I do. But the new glasses, and I'll share the screen here for the folks on the video side. They're awesome. They are the next generation in every way except for one. They're still 1080p, and I'm like, come on, can we please have could you have just gone maybe 2K, like a little bit higher resolution? But hey, maybe they've got something going on here where similar to how resolutions in the early days, they're packing more pixels per inch, and so it's a much better resolution. So we'll see how that comes out. I look forward to testing those and getting back to all of you on what that looks like. Here's their website, just xreal.com, and I'm very excited for this because it is a huge step forward without having to get the whole mega massive Apple Vision Pro. The X1 is the name of their chip. You can do a 32:9 ultra wide mode. It has a native 3 degrees of field, I believe that's DOF. And the speakers have been totally redesigned with Bose. So the way that the speakers work on this, similar to the Meta Ray-Bans, is that they are sitting over your ear and they're downward firing speakers, and they're designed to be able to be heard by you, but not really anyone else. And there's obviously going to be some audio bleed that happens when you do that. But I'm told that it is significantly better than before and some of the other headsets that are out there. And I'm very excited to get my hands on these and try them out. I think it's going to be a huge step forward for the headset, and just maybe it might work for my use cases. So we'll see. Okay, interesting news in the world of business for running things, business of technology, technologies, business. The Verge, one of my favorite publications, as you could probably tell from where I get a lot of my sources from here, they have a subscription now. And it was a delight. I was delighted. And the reason for this is because I subscribed to one of their newsletters because it's phenomenal coverage of the industry, and I wanted to be able to get their premium articles and whatnot. And I got a partial refund for my $70 a year subscription, and all of a sudden it was $50 a year, and I was like, okay, cool. I wonder why that happened, but I'm not complaining. They lowered my subscription. How often does that happen? Almost never. And then I got an email, and the news broke that no, what actually they did is they lowered the price of a single newsletter subscription, but in that same subscription instead expanded it to the entire Verge both newsletters and the Verge.com website as their subscription. Now, this is how you do a subscription, folks. So pay attention if you're thinking about doing launching a subscription product in the future. They are doing less ads on the website, and they are making both of their newsletters included, and they're sending a cool coffee table book, which I look forward to reading because I love funky things that are well written and beautiful design and whatnot. And the this is just the beginning, and they've been trying to reinvent and reimagine how journalism happens for the last several years. And their website, if you aren't familiar with them, they redid it a couple of years ago to include news links that are not theirs and to actually send traffic away to their competitors because it was news and it was something that they found interesting. And so as a consumer, to have one place to go for a lot more information than just what their newsroom is able to cover, I thought that was a really good move there. And the reason why they're doing a subscription is the same reason why anyone else does a subscription. It's really hard to make money in this environment, especially as a large newsroom, as compared to a solo creator, where we get basically the majority, or if not all, of the subscription fees that come in, minus YouTube stake if it comes from the YouTube ads, or we do get most of it if it comes directly from a sponsor. So good on them, making it affordable, making it even cheaper than what they were already charging those of us who are subscribed. So if you like The Verge and you want to have access to all of that, definitely go and sign up for a subscription with them, because they do great work and I'd love to see it continue to be supported. Okay, next up on the docket, as you may have seen in the thumbnail for this video, this year's 2025 Google Cloud Next tickets are officially on sale. It has launched. It's 119 days, 21 hours, 36 minutes, and 16 seconds, 14 seconds away from now. It is going to be in Las Vegas, April 9th through 11th. And as you can see, I am excited about it, as I always am. I've got my master document planning. Last year was a big one. It was their first year in Vegas, and they expanded the attendance from what they had it in San Francisco, which was at 18,000. There were over 30,000 people in Vegas last year. This year is going to be even bigger. I am hoping to get some behind the scenes access, so let me know what you would like to see from my coverage of the conference. I will be there for several days. Who do you want me to interview? Who do you want me to talk to? What do you want to know? What do you want to see? I'm pretty much, looks like I've been promised to get full access to everything. So hopefully I can make that interesting for all of you and help that out in the different types of videos that I'm going to make. There's going to be interesting developments with all the new movement of folks who have changed teams, and AI obviously is going to be one of the major things. You can see Logan Kilpatrick, who's the senior product manager for Google Cloud, also known as, I'm pretty sure, the head of DeepMind, or one of the heads of DeepMind, which is running all of Google's AI stuff here. And you can even see, Cloud AI, Cloud, some of these other folks are involved in AI. And on the Google Workspace side, we have a new leader who nobody's heard from since he took over and since Aparna stepped down. So I imagine we're going to get a big introduction to him at this event. And the pricing right now from December 5th to February 14th is $1,000, $999 for those who are being pedantic. February 15th to March 17th, it goes up to $1,500, and March 18th goes up to $2,100. The hotel options are, you should book through the room block. The hotel registration is not yet open, as it says on the website. Hotel booking is coming soon, so they're probably finalizing the information for room blocks on that. So get your tickets so that you get in early bird, but make sure, set yourself reminders, don't forget. Please remember to book your hotel room because they disappear. 30,000 people, 40,000 people, descending on Vegas. Vegas can handle it, but you may not be so close to the venue. And I don't know if you've ever been to Vegas before. I've been there lots and lots of times. Everything is further than it appears. It is so much further to walk. The hotel is, it's right next door to each other. Oh, you're going to walk a mile if you want to get there. It might be hot. It might be cold. It might be raining. Yes, sometimes they have indoor tunnels. But those are even more walking, and it's all designed to be moving people around from one to the other, but not exactly quickly, unfortunately. And Vegas, everything is huge. You're going to do a shitload of walking. So be sure, if you can afford it, definitely to get in the hotel for the conference. It's Mandalay and Delano are back to back. I stayed in Delano last year. It was a nicer accommodation, a larger room than Mandalay. However, it was further. It's the same hotel, but it's the other side of the hotel, and I spent thousands of steps walking back and forth. Literally, I clocked it on my Apple Watch. Thousands of steps going back and forth between the conference area and the main area of the hotel and my hotel room, because I also brought a lot of gear. I'm not doing that this year. I am scaling down all of my tech. I just ordered DJI's newest, smallest microphones, so I'll do a review on those probably in the next couple of weeks. Everything I'm doing is working to get that smaller. I don't need to bring as much massive gear with me because the tech has just improved so much, and I've streamlined everything that I'm doing as well. But there's going to be a lot of really, really good conversations happening here, sessions happening here. I did propose a meetup for Google Workspace admins at Google Next, so we'll see if they bite the bullet on that and let me run that, or maybe they'll just take the idea and do it on their own. Either or, I don't care. As long as it happens, I'll be there. I'll probably end up running it anyway because I am pretty much the most vocal out there of all of us admins and have been for the last 4 years and counting. So, hope to see you there. Please feel free to come up and say hello to me. This was mind blowing that it actually happened last year, that I got recognized. This is new for me as a creator. Sorry if I was awkward to you and don't remember you, because I was kind of overwhelmed by the fact that it, was even happening, that I got recognized as a creator. That had never happened to me before. So hopefully I didn't come off as too weird in person. I promise I'm exactly as I sound here on the microphone, and just as friendly and whatnot. So definitely would love to see all of you at Google Next, and the website is really helpful. So definitely go and take a look, cloud.withgoogle.com/next/25, or the link in the show notes, or obviously just Google it because it's Google. So that's that. Okie doke, onward to other Google news. Google Vids, Google's first new app for Google Workspace, which was announced at last year's Google Next, is now GA, general availability, which means everybody has access to it. I haven't used it all that much. It's an interesting setup where you can use AI, or you can use the interface, or you can use both, and essentially it's slides but for video. And so you can take something that should have been an email, or could have been an email but was a meeting anyway because they wanted a little bit more context, and instead of doing it in an email, you can just record yourself directly and throw it into your video and throw in some slides with video. And it's similar to how Canva does slides on video. It's just really simple, straightforward, easy to use, collaborate with your partners and folks at the office, and it's really simple and straightforward. That being said, it's not that advanced. I could not edit some of my videos on here. Maybe I could edit this show on there because I do very little as far as tightening things up, but I actually edit it inside of Riverside. So take a look at that if you're interested. I know I'm not doing the best job of selling it. It is for folks who are not very technical, I imagine. It's for folks who just want to make a quick video recording, edit something together on the fly, or folks that are making some quick social media type content, announcements, updates, things like that is what I think it's good for. So if that's you, go and check it out. Did you have a Wrapped from Spotify this year? I did. I'm a huge fan of when they do that. I actually forgot to share the numbers from that. Obviously, I was one of the top Rush listeners in the world because, as you've seen from some of my other videos, I am a huge fan of Rush. I listen 3,700 minutes, top 0.1% of listeners worldwide. So my top artists were Rush, Shinedown, Kenny Chesney, Dropkick Murphys, and the High Kings, spanning their classic rock, alternative rock, country, and then punk and Irish, which is basically the things that I like. So my most listened to song, though, which apparently I'm not sure how many other people are listening to it, because I'm in the top 0.005% of listeners worldwide, is The Highland Hero by Peter Crowley. And this is my go-to deep focus, zone out the world. I need to figure out and solve this problem, and this song needs to quiet the ADD side of my brain that is trying to distract me into every other thing. And this song is just like an epic kind of Lord of the Rings style, no lyrics, just instrumental, and I just put it on repeat for hours, and then I just crank out work. And so I listened to that song about 1,000 times last year, and I recommend it tremendously. And I have a couple others if you're interested I can recommend as well. Why am I talking about Spotify when I'm in the Google section of the show here? Is that one of the things that Spotify did this year is they had a ability in their Wrapped to do a podcast, a short podcast about your listening style. It's an AI podcast, and it was powered by Google's Notebook LM. Now, it occurs to me when I talk with some other folks that not everybody has heard of Notebook LM. Notebook LM is a product by Google that is an experiment, an AI experiment that will help you to synthesize your information. It'll take all of your information. You can ingest tremendous amounts of data from lots of different sources, and you can search it, you can talk to it, or you can actually create a podcast out of it. And it doesn't have to be as short as the ones that Spotify did. They were only a couple of minutes, thankfully, because it was a little bit cringe. All right, it was a lot of it cringe, but it was pretty cool. And essentially, it creates two hosts that talk about your music listening, and they have a lot of banter and back and forth, and it's pretty cringe because some of that banter is pretty bad, and you can tell that it's AI, but it's getting better. Um, but Notebook LM has been doing this for the last couple of months, and people have taken like court documents of crazy court cases and fed it into Notebook LM, and then created a riveting podcast around like the legalities and the wars around whether you can have farmland in one country and who can take it. And this is a whole case that they did. I forget what that was several months ago. But it's a really cool thing, and Notebook LM is actually coming to Google Workspace, coming to Enterprise. There's going to be Enterprise and Business tiers for it. I'm begging to get access to it. So, folks, if you're on the Google team, on the Notebook LM team who are listening to this, please let me into the alpha or the beta or whatever so that I can play around with this, because I love the consumer side and I can't wait for this to come to the business side. And I could just feed it all of my shows and then be like, when did I talk about this? And hopefully it'll be able to answer that question for me. So I think that'd be pretty cool. That being said, 3 members of the Notebook LM founding team have recently left to start their own startup. So, you know what? More power to them. They're going to go cash in. The AI craze is nuts. They built this amazing product. It's going to continue to be developed and built inside of Google. I imagine they're going to build something similar where I have no idea, actually. I imagine it'll be something similar to what they've done here, but they have a product idea that they're going to build out and probably get a crap load of funding because they're just throwing stuff at the wall with the name AI in it to see what sticks, or LM, I suppose, language model. And well, let's stay tuned and see what comes from those guys. And hopefully without them, Google can continue developing this. But Google just can't catch a break, man. Sometimes it's antitrust left, right, and center. And even when it gets something cool that a lot of people are interested in, the founders leave and go and start their own startup. So sucks to be Google sometimes. Um, Interestingly enough, and I've never talked about this so much before on any of my shows, is week after week after week after week, we seem to have lots of news and information on data centers and the infrastructure of the internet. Google Cloud just launched a new region in Mexico, and I went to the Google Cloud region opening here in Los Angeles a couple of years ago, and it was awesome. It was one of the first times that I heard Miles Ward speak. If you don't know him, he's amazing. He's been on stage at Google Next on the keynotes, and he's all around awesome dude. I gotta interview him. I gotta get him on the show. I'll have to work on that. And he did a mind-blowing AI vision demo at the time, having to do with the Avengers and action figures and identifying what they are just by looking at them, and it was really, really cool. But anyway, I digress. That was their party for launching that. But the fact is that they launched their region there, which means that they have fiber and they have really dedicated, powerful data center in the local area, so that you have the lowest latency to be able to provide services to folks in that area. And out here in LA, obviously the focus was entertainment and aerospace and moving enormous amounts of data between data centers locally and abroad, and local servers and editing capabilities and things like that. I don't know what was focused on in this region in Mexico, but similar setup is to allow customers over there to be able to get low latency experiences, to be able to move large amounts of data into Google's network, to ingest it into Google's network, and then from there, obviously, once you're in Google's data center, their backbone is going to be the fastest way to move things around. So pretty cool if you're in the Latin America region. They had announced in 2022 a 5-year, $1.2 billion commitment, focusing on four key areas: digital infrastructure, digital skills, entrepreneurship, and inclusive, sustainable communities. And so this is a big part of that. And data centers. We're at a time, as evident by the amount of news that I've talked about on data centers and the backbone of the internet over the last several weeks, is in a time of massive expansion, which is interesting timing because this whole AI thing only started about a year ago, and these projects started earlier than that. So I think that they're going to be utilizing a lot more of their compute capacity a lot sooner than they thought. Obviously, when in the last year they realized they're going to need a lot more compute, and so they probably started adding to what they're going to need in these data centers that they're building out. But it's that's how it goes. This is the business of the internet. These are the companies that literally run the backbone of technology that runs the world. So pretty cool there. What else here? Pour one out. Moment of silence for C2C. C2C was a customer to customer community for Google Cloud products. It was an interesting setup from the beginning, of which I actually broke the news when they were launching and announcing. I was desperate for engagement for around Google Next during COVID when nobody was there, and attempting to just find ways to connect with other people and to do networking and learn more information, and I'm always learning, and that's how I do it. And so I found that they were launching a community both online and in person, and I went to a ton of their events over the last several years, and they ran out of runway, and so it was time for them to close the doors. And props to the team. I appreciated all the learnings and the friends we made along the way, and look forward to seeing what they go on and do next. But if you had missed that email from them, go and check it out. It's in your inbox. If you're a member of the community, that's it. They shut it down, and now the only one left is the Google Cloud community, which is Google's online cloud community, which does have some pretty good sections for admins and other folks, and specifically in the areas that you're looking for. So you want to go and dig through there. I've found some that I've subscribed to. Just I don't go all that often because I'm a little bit busy. But when I'm looking for a specific answer, it's a good place to go and ask. And I do post some of my stuff around Google Next there for that as well. So pour one out for C2C. Thanks for all the memories. And moving on into an area that I know nothing about. So I can't even really talk much about this update. But Google has launched, I don't know if you know this, Google has been doing research into quantum computing for like the last decade. And they have a new chip. They're calling it Willow. And it seems to have cracked some breakthrough or had some breakthrough that has the quantum industry losing their minds. Like, this is an amazing step forward. It says that Willow can reduce more errors exponentially as we scale up using more qubits. This cracks a key challenge in quantum error correction that the field has pursued for almost 30 years. It's a massive technological breakthrough there. If anybody knows what the hell that means, please put it in the comments, because I know very, very little about quantum computing. I didn't even realize we were that close that you could put it on a freaking chip. I thought it was still the big machines and the hanging from the ceiling, like the cool pictures that we've seen in the past. So apparently they've been making some huge strides on this in the last several years. The second thing that they're highlighting here is that Willow performed a standard benchmark computation in under 5 minutes that would take one of today's fastest computers 10 septillion. That's 10 to the 25 years, a number that vastly exceeds the age of the universe. So it nailed something in 5 minutes that normally would have taken all of known time and space and whatnot. So that's insane. RIP to passwords as we know it, which is why Google had rolled out a quantum password protection capability, I don't know, several weeks ago or a couple of months ago. So if you're worried about that, go and check that out. It's available for Google Workspace. I think it's going to be a little while until the bad guys have access to quantum chips that can do this, but this is a major step forward. So Google founded Quantum AI in 2012. That's how long they've been working on this, and it's definitely something. So if anybody can explain more to me, please put it in the comments. There are some graphs in here and more information in this article. Sorry, street cleaner going by there. Hopefully you didn't hear that. But I will leave a link to this in the show notes if you are curious about that one. That's it on the major news. And then the last bit is, of course, the Google Workspace updates that I found most interesting. Folks who have any of the new Qualcomm AI PCs and have been waiting for a Google Drive version that is compatible with ARM on those Windows PCs, a beta is now available. It's one of the big things that came out. A lot of different apps didn't work with the new computers, and for the first time, there's actually a solid user base that are using ARM. ARM for, well, Windows on ARM previously sucked quite bad. If you all remember the what was it, the Windows X tablet or something like that, the ARM tablet that they came out with. I actually bought one years ago and returned it. It was terrible. The design was great. The Windows just did not work very well on it. Um, and none of the apps really worked on it. And this was a continuing problem here where still a lot of the apps don't work on it. But now, because Qualcomm has bested Intel in pretty much every area here, and these new PCs that they worked with Microsoft to develop are the main PCs that Microsoft is building and helping to design and showing off around the world, there's a little bit more market traction now, and so obviously apps are getting built for it. And Google Drive now has a beta. So to opt in the beta, you download and install the beta version of Google Drive for desktop on an ARM-compatible Windows 11 device powered by Snapdragon, aka from Qualcomm. If you want to opt out at any time, you can disconnect your account and then uninstall the application. But it is compiled natively for ARM64 and will enable you to use Google Drive if you have one of those PCs. So if that's you, definitely go and hit the link in the show notes. All right. E-signatures were awesome when they came to docs in Google Workspace. Now they're coming to PDFs. And the e-signature in Google Docs came out earlier this year. If you missed that, there's a link here that you can see that announcement as well. And this is awesome because you know what? DocuSign needs to be dethroned and needs some serious competition. I like Sign Now as well if you're looking for another one. This is going to be, I think, another interesting, solid option for those that are doing just some light, simple, straightforward signing. The PDF editing space in general needs a major upset. Having a conversation with some other folks about how to edit, and it's basically Adobe, and well, there's not really any other good solid options out there. So hopefully we get some better capabilities for that as far as editing PDFs go. Google, if you're listening, I've got ideas, let me know. But this is available for Workspace, Business Standard and Plus, Enterprise Starter, Standard and Plus, and basically everybody, Essentials and Essentials, Enterprise Essentials Plus, Education Plus, and Individual. So everybody. Gradual rollout up to 15 days for feature visibility starting on December 4th, which was last week. So that's already rolling out to everybody. And then if you work in a regulated industry and you want to use Gemini, good news there. They're getting all kinds of certifications, HIPAA and lots of other ISO certifications for the Gemini app on web and mobile. Google has always been huge into deep levels of security and certifications for everybody on everything, and they've now achieved that for Gemini. They claim that Gemini is the first enterprise-ready certified AI assistant. I expect to hear a lot more about this at Google Next and their plans for this moving forward. And as I was talking about on one of the comments on one of my videos, somebody was asking about that there's no videos that basically is saying that Gemini is not great. And there are certain parts of Gemini that are not great, and I will come out and I will say that. And the interesting thing here is that Google has taken a different approach than some of the others, is the deep level integration into Workspace that is almost here, partially here, bits and pieces here, starting to see it roll out, and I'm excited for what's more to come here because it's going to be that much more useful once it's going to be able to be a well-trained assistant that you always have access to, and you can just say, hey, what was that email, or what was that document, or find me this information in my unstructured chaos that is my Google Drive. And sorry, I got distracted by one of my messaging apps. Justin, I saw that. But essentially, Google is going to be continuing down this path and continuing with Gemini. And Gemini, here's the thing with Google: they get there eventually. They may not be first. They may not be the best. They may throw things at the wall and see what sticks, and they may kill a bunch of things in the process, much to people's frustration, but that's how Google does things. It's not the Microsoft way, it's the Google way. And, it's worked out pretty well for them so far. So I imagine it's going to be continuing mostly down this path, although they do seem to be maturing a little bit more now as time goes on. So, All right, I will shut up now. This has been, 40 some odd minutes. So thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me on this experiment for the last couple of months. It will continue. I do like doing this show. I think there's a lot of interesting news, and it is happening on such a breakneck pace that doing it every week is something that is sustainable and continuing. I have to decide if Tuesday is the best for this. If you think that there's a better time to do this show, whether it's Monday mornings first thing or Fridays or something, let me know in the comments, please, whether you're commenting on Spotify or on YouTube or X or LinkedIn or really anywhere. Send me a message and let me know what your thoughts are, because I do really want this to succeed, and I want to make this the best Tech for Work show that there is out there. So um, hit like, hit subscribe, etc. Share it with your friends. Have a great new year, everybody, and we'll see you next time on Tech for Work.